trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. The spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land we embrace.
You are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
Welcome to this edition of the Bottom Line Liberia discussions. A beautiful Friday evening, the 9th of May 2025, and a very, very beautiful day indeed in terms of weather. Tonight, we from outside tonight, and wherever you are, if it is in the morning, in the afternoon, we want to say welcome. Or we want to say welcome to all of you who are always with us. And if this is your first time, we also want to say welcome. And let me say welcome to my colleague Paul, the Lord Traore. Paul, welcome.
Thank you, Lynn, for good evening from my end and good evening to our viewers. It's good to be back on the Bottom Line discussion for another edition, my brother. Tonight, the weekend starts today, and I think we'll have very interesting news tonight to go through with. So to our viewers, share the show. Fun discussions are coming up. Share the show. Yeah, if you join here for the first time, just click on the like button, and then you'll be notified whenever we come up. Linford, no doubt, man. It's good to be in paradise, my brother. It's good to be back here. What a place to be. And when you're alive, you have energy to do what you want to do in life. You can even move a mountain. So I always say it is great to be in paradise. Another day in paradise is a good thing. So when people come up with this story, say that there's life after death, I don't believe it, because we don't know where we are. As long you can talk, you can make any move. That is paradise. This is the paradise. This is the earth that we own. We own what God gave all this so-called paradise. We should make the best of it. So it is what it is. There are a lot of interesting news out there. And let me just entertain you small before we get into the gist of it. Russia had their military parade today to celebrate their Victory Day. And we know that Zelensky had threatened to destabilize their Victory Day, but they went ahead with it. And guess what? This 35-year-old young man from Africa, he's appearing over there, called a lot of people attention again. Something about this young man that we need to look at. So, talk to me, Linford. The young man is making a lot of headways around the world.
Yeah, when you talk about the celebration of Russia's Victory Day, as they call it, I think it's one of the, in fact, it's the most biggest event in their life as a country, because they call it a Victory Day. You lived in Russia, you should know more about that. And I think, and inviting Captain Ibrahim Traore to attend such a meeting, it was a big one. And I saw
guess
some.
What? Guess what, Linford, before you conclude? Putin sent one of his diplomatic jets to go pick the young man up. That is amazing. This guy don't have to worry about, how does he get to, and he arrived in Moscow with his pistol on his side, man. Look, something about this young man, like Africans as a whole, need to pay key attention to Captain Traore. Today, the parade was going on. There's no Kosu. He was in his same military uniform, my brother. Talk to me. Conclude.
Yeah. And like I said, his appearance or the invitation extended him. Sorry, guys, you see me looking down. I'm trying to share the show to my contacts, so that's why my head is bent. But let me get in contact with my audience. But like I said, the invitation extended to Captain Ibrahim Traore, head of state of Burkina Faso. I think it's a big honor that any head of state should receive. And I saw somewhere on the internet I think today or yesterday, where the president of one of the South American countries met with
Venezuela.
him. Venezuela, yeah, met with him.
Yeah.
And remember what? Venezuela is also not friendly with our uncle. You know that? Because Venezuela refused to sell their oil to them or
They're
let
not
them take
friendly.
over their oil.
Yeah.
So our uncle, they're not friendly. So I was surprised. What was Venezuela doing way on the other side of the world? And then he met with he was the first person that ever had audience with him, with Captain Traore. So, like I said, the invitation extended him is one of the biggest that any head of state can receive. You know, like because normally not many countries will be invited to such events. So I think it's a pride for him personally and pride for the people of Africa, and that Russia is looking at this guy as somebody that they can trust in Africa. You know, because most of the African leaders are sellouts. You know, they lean so much towards the West to the point, and the reason why I'll understand the reason why most African leaders will lean towards the West is because they were colonized by the West here, by the Western countries here. If it is not England, it's Spain or Portugal or France. So you see, they tend to lay towards their colonial masters, especially when they are looking up to them for handouts. And whereas Russia or the former Soviet Union did not have much influence in Africa, in fact, not to that extent where the colonizing country know, not to my knowledge. And so when anything like this happens and you see Russia is inviting any head of state from Africa, it means that they trust that person. Because I don't think Russia will want to trust, any former French colony, former American colony like ours, former Spanish colony, like that. Not very easily. After they've gone through all of what they've gone through, but that's war politics. So, I think the world should be proud of Ibrahim Traore and Burkina Faso as a whole, and Africa at large should be proud because this young man is setting a pace that I think in fact, all African leaders, I will not use the word most, all African leaders must, I'm not saying should, but must follow. Because if they do this, it's going to awaken the West to say no. It's just like, but I think we are not going through the discussions here. We just warming up, right? We just warming up. So I don't know if you have anything else to add, because I don't want to vomit all of what I have before the actual show starts.
No, so it's good that warming up. My internet may be slow because of some we're trying to switch internet. So I might be a little bit slow, but at times it will be stable. But you are right. And something I might pour on later on today. This guy called Josh Galloway, he did a podcast. He's the mother of all podcasts. And when he did a podcast on Traore, he had over 1 million viewers. So he was able to bring somebody in to talk more about Traore. So for the past week, he have been talking about Traore. But something that he's in, I'll try and download that thing for our audience. But why is it France and UK are pushing Ukraine for the escalation of the war? The reason behind it, Traore, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, whenever they kick out those that kick out the French, guess what happened? It was the Russian that went in. So because they're so bitter with the Russian, so the funds that they were getting from those three countries, they're not getting it anymore. So this is why Macron is so pissed off, and he wants that Ukraine and Russia war to continue for them to destabilize the whole thing. That's the bitterness. It's not about Ukraine winning the war. It's about what the decision those three countries took that France is not happy with. And when Russia went in now, it's something different. I will keep it for the program so people can listen to it. It's something key on it. Why it said that the West cannot get this young man at this time. So viewer, please share the show. It will be fascinating.
I think I'm following your line of thought. But we want to welcome Samuel Yosen Wisse. I think this is the first time I see Samuel, but welcome, Samuel. Please help us to share the show.
We'll see.
Just share it to your contacts as well, so we can have a lot of people. And we're going to take a musical break as usual. You know, the reason why we usually take this musical break is not to bore you down, but it's to give you the opportunity, probably just joining or just ran into the show, so that you can find a seat. I don't know, you just came from out, you can grab a cup of water to drink and sit down and listen to us. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours. So help us to share the show, and Chargelon Chuluple Brown or Brown Chuluple. Thank you, always being with us. And so, guys, help us to share the show. We're going to take that short musical break.
I think we should take. Do you think we should take musical break? Do you think so?
Yeah, just a short interlude.
All right, just do the commercial break.
Yeah, and then right after that, you can do a commercial.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a commercial set, right?
It's all set. Whenever you finish, we hit.
Okay, we're going to be very short. The music will be very, very short. And then you know, just to make the people adjusted, because some people just tuning in and say, okay. Let me put my bed down and come by, sit down and listen. So let's hit it quick.
My people, where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Wave your hands. Come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people who us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. So much. I said they lie. The people who us, the people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to be?
Through trials and tribulations, you have prevailed. The spirit is unbreakable, never derailed. With a rich heritage and culture and grace, Liberia, you are the land we embrace.
You are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia.
Yes, indeed, you are welcome to the Bottom Line Liberia. And so we'll soon be going into our actual discussion. So, Paul, there is this commercial about Hans Volga. You know, every time I hear about it, Volga, I haven't tested it. And I'm not a Volga guy, though. But the way they talk about it, I think that will lead me to probably want to taste it one day when I have the opportunity. Or if I know anybody who is coming from, because I don't think we have that on sale in Europe yet. But when I see anybody coming from Liberia, I'll try to at least taste it. So tell our viewers what it is.
Di Lorenzo, G Grace. Hems vocal, Liberia number one vocal, Liberia number one, right? Okay.
The phrase, a new sheriff is in town, does not only belong to law enforcement. How about the introduction of Liberia's premier vodka, a quality and customized liquor for all occasions? Try the flavor of your choice. Hems Vodka, Hems Honey, Hems Bitter, and Hems Original Vodka. Hems Vodka has no hangover. That's why they say Papa drank Mama happy. Hems Vodka is sold in all stores, shops, supermarkets, and entertainment centers in Liberia. For wholesale, contact Hems Vodka at 0777 001114, 0777 000 979, We can also be reached via social media on Facebook and IG at Hans Vodka or www.hansvodka.com. In the United States, please contact Hans North America Incorporated at 610-543-9289, 484-888-1622, 484-755-8411. Hans Vodka is approved by the U.S. federal government. Hans Vodka brings out the real man in you.
I tell you, in my core, in my blood. Every time when I stay on the block, everybody knows it. We are start. And forgot that number one. Oh, from Liberia all around. In supermarket store and everywhere. And forgot that number one. Oh.
Okay. Just before we continue, Paul, let me welcome a couple of people here. Darius Gisi UK is watching. We also have MD Baby Drake. He's also watching. I don't know where he's watching from, the place he's watching from, but they are watching on the other side of my friends list or my group. So that's why they are not showing up here. But there's a lot of people watching. And I can call everybody in because there's plenty. All in the other groups that I'm in. But if you're just watching from somewhere, and Oliver Chair is also watching, our brother, and please help us to share the show so that together we can have great discussions. Paul, where are we starting? There's a lot of things happening in the world, in Liberia, everywhere around us. So where are we starting? Are we starting abroad? And they say charity starts at home and ends abroad. But sometimes we let us start abroad and can't end it at home. So where are we starting from?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. So I think we should start from abroad and any home, because any home is always drama. Why am I saying this? And let me give our viewers some of the little things that we'll be talking about. Good news and bad news. So the good news is the Barbados president landed in Liberia to strengthen ties. Remember, we have few presidents that have been in Liberia that came from Barbados. That's the good news. So Liberians can go to Barbados. You don't need visa if you have a Liberian passport. The other news is some doctor or fake doctor been operating. We'll talk about that story. That's the bad news. People have been dying in hospital. People with fake credentials will be looking at it. And then the other news is we learned that Fonatikofa will resign next Tuesday. So we might have election in the House. So we want our audience to talk about. But today we're going international. Why is it international so important to this platform? Today there is Victory Day celebration in Moscow, and it's one of the biggest events. Those that live in the former USSR will tell you it's 3-day celebration, because during World War II, 27 million Soviets died. It's not for they had the highest number of deaths in that war, and they were able to conquer Germany by marching into Berlin. So they take it very seriously, and so it's a big thing. We know that the West, NATO, have been pushing Zelensky that to sabotage that thing, but Russia gave them serious warning, say if you try, that would be the end of Ukraine, will disappear from the planet Earth. So to our viewers, today we'll talk about then some young men from Africa, the young 35-year-old Captain Ibrahim Traore is making headway.
I think he's 37.
He's 35. He's that Peking. That Peking, the good thing about this Peking, diplomatic jet was sent, Aeroflot, Putin own diplomatic jet sent to Burkina Faso to bring this young man to the program. Something about this young man that Africans need to take serious note of. We'll be diving into this guy. Now, George Galloway, for those of you who don't know George Galloway, he's one of the talkative in the world. He challenged the U.S. government before. George Galloway had been doing a profile on this young man. We'll be looking at why George Galloway is paying key attention on Captain Traore. So, Linford, so we start international and end home.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've already heard that President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is the guest of Russian President Vladimir Putin. I don't know how long that visit is going to last, but how long a visit lasts is not important. What is important is that an African leader was invited to a very auspicious occasion that is very dear to the hearts of the Russian people. And this country did not colonize any African country that the leader can invite an African nation. I think it sends shock waves to the spines of our quote-unquote colonizers, pastors, who still want to, wield the colonial power over us. And Paul, it's like, I don't know how you look at it, but it's like we the men, okay, or probably it goes to women too, that you dating a very beautiful lady, or in fact you've been with this woman for a very long time, but you don't care, you feel that I got this woman, man, so I don't care. You can entry her anytime, you can do anything, she will not go. You think you got her, and that's how our colonial masters have been taking us to be in Africa. That the colonizers, they brainwashed us, they gave us something called the power. They did everything to us. They decide what we eat. They decide how we dress. They decide how we sell our mineral resources. Everything about us. Okay? So, and then all of a sudden, you see one day picking from somewhere. He just come in, he start playing around this woman here. And then he winning the woman's heart. When you go low, the way the woman is, the way she's so responds, she's not responding. That in fact, she can standing up to you. So you say, but now what happening? If you get that picking, we're gonna come here, you try to do something. I'm putting it on real Liberian way, right? So we can understand. So looking at that picking, in that do something else. So that's how our colonial masters are now thinking. They are shaking in their pants. Trust me. So it's not going to be easy. And I think for me, I am personally proud for a few reasons. One of them is that this guy, the entire world, it may not be the West as a country, but people in the West are standing up. Even some Westerners are standing up for this guy. Okay, and black people everywhere are standing up for this guy. And I have not seen it. Nelson Mandela, one of the greatest African freedom fighters, was in jail for 27 years. People stood for him though, but it wasn't like this. And Thomas Sankara, from the very country that Captain Traore leads today, was killed. People didn't stand like this. Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, all these people, Gaddafi, just recently, Gaddafi, okay, was brutally killed on screen. Nobody stood for him like this. But people eyes have opened. I think it has reached the point, the terminal point. In physics, there is something called elasticity. And then from elasticity, you get elastic limit. Take a rubber band and stretch it. When it stretches more, it will stretch,
Yeah.
until it reaches to the end. When it reaches to the end, the rubber band got only one option to cut. Okay, just pass that stage again. So these people have stretched us so much, so to the point where we cannot go any longer. So, and also in physics, if you bounce it, that's why the football can bounce. When you bounce on the ground, it will come back out. So if you bounce the ball on the wall, it will come back to you, right in your face. So it has reached the terminal point. There's nothing more we can do. Number one, we have been cooperating with these people, the black race. We allow them. That's why I always ask the question: how did our great grandparents, some 600 years ago, almost, managed for these people to colonize whole country? I mean, the entire continent. Were we afraid? Were we cowards or what? Something went wrong. But we the present generation will now understand that. Okay, so we submitted into a lot of things, but then the now generation, our eyes have opened, and thanks to what we call social media today, Because this one up before even right before Gaddafi's death right in front of us there, it was not there. Nobody will see it. Okay, we were only fed with what the Western media want us to know. But now, even if you go pee, you won't hire yourself good. Somebody will take your picture. So everything, nothing is in hidden anymore. Everything is exposed. And I believe some of the Western powerful countries, they are regretting, why do we invent even the internet? Why do we invent social? And trust me, I've been thinking about this in Paul. I know how you look at it. America might just say, okay, Mark Zuckerberg, close down the whole internet, close down the whole Facebook and other things. Because they have reached a point where nothing happening again. I don't know how you think about it. But to just conclude on President Traore's visit, I think it's proud as African.
In the 90s, when we were doing artificial intelligence, designing robots, and you remember when today the internet, it was World Wide Web. Remember back in the days?
Yeah.
That when it started newly, when we were in it, we have the thing internal programming. We used to call it the intranet, that you could communicate between people within a setting. Now, so when the World Wide Web came into place, people started getting that thing because it's actually started from the military laboratory, and people saw it as, oh, it's a means that we can communicate. But then when we started doing artificial intelligence, building robots at the time to make the robot to think like human, we were not thinking that some little guy will sit down somewhere and grab something out of this and run with it today called Facebook. We were not even thinking at the time because we're only depending on robot, right? And then today, the artificial intelligence that we were doing today now have taken over the world. So information dissemination today is unstoppable. Now you have a Chinese guy who came out with a thing called TikTok. Another Russian came out with Telegraph. So the means of getting information from everywhere. Anyway, unsettling. The means of getting information from everywhere. So it's not stopping. So the mainstream media at the time, when BBC or wherever country you are, their main news tell you something, that's why you are limited to. But today, the BBC will say something, will say, no, let's check it out from the other end. You find a BBC lie.
Mm-hmm.
So the mainstream media now find it difficult with information. So when something happens, look at the demonstration that took place regarding remove and don't touch Traore. It was based on social media. One comment the guy made, it spread all over the world. Before, no, they would sing the song, it just be between the mainstream media, and now people would buy into it. So they have that way of, when you keep telling somebody one thing over and over, it sing and it becomes like a reality, but it's false. So now the West is facing this big crisis with the social media that we can get news from anywhere. Because if you get smartphone, you become a news person. Something happened now, you can put it up, people will see, for the mainstream news pick it up. So this is what happening in the world. You see, why I said today in Palestine with the Israel and Gaza, the news that come from a smartphone are giving news to Al Jazeera. So they cannot stop news flowing. It is what it is, bro. So let's move on. For our audience today, we'll start with the VE Day first in Moscow. Then we'll go to George Galloway, who have done a little documentary on why this young man is gaining attention, who is Captain Ibrahim Traore, the 35 years old. Why he becomes so important. And he was not the first that started this, but for some reason, and you said, Linford, the young boy come around, the old guy been around, the woman now found love with the young boy. This is why he has overshadowed the others. Why? We'll look at that. So let's talk about the Victory Day today first. It's just a 2-minute clip. And this is CBS News that we're getting this information from Facebook.
A massive military parade in Moscow today celebrating the 80th anniversary of victory in World War II. This year, the show of military might was even bigger. It carried an unspoken message about Russia's conflict with Ukraine. Elizabeth Palmer is in Moscow. Elizabeth, good morning.
Good morning. It's hard to overstate the lavishness of this event. The preparations for the parade alone pretty much paralyzed the center of Moscow over the last couple of days. It was an extravaganza of marching. Russian troops from every branch of the military and soldiers from former Soviet republics. There was even a guest contingent from China, Russia's increasingly close ally. In the viewing stand, President Vladimir Putin sat right next to his guest of honor, Chinese President Xi Jinping. On one level, this parade was a celebration of Russia's great victory over the Nazis in World War II. But it was also political theater, a weapons drive-by to remind the world that Russia is still a nuclear superpower, and hugs and handshakes with North Korean military officials to show the Russian leader isn't squeamish about his supporters. In his speech, Putin did touch on Ukraine. Russia is going through a difficult watershed moment in its history, he said. All of you on the front lines are our heroes. This spectacle is also meant to reassure the Russian people that the pride and the strength of their military hasn't been completely crushed by the grinding conflict in Ukraine. In the past 3 years, tens of thousands of Russian soldiers have been killed and continue to die. This parade is a celebration of victory over an old enemy. But it's also a distraction from the fact that military victory in Ukraine looks a long way off. Before the parade, we heard rumors that Americans might appear, somebody from the Trump administration, perhaps even some American veterans. In the end, we saw none, including the U.S. ambassador, who was invited to attend, Nate, but chose not to.
Liz Palmer in Moscow.
So, Linford,
So you
we've
see,
been told by the mainstream media that Russian arms were depleted, that the Ukraine will win this war because NATO is backing and sending everything there. But 11,000 soldiers turned out today. What say you from the video you just watched?
you know, there's a lot of interesting things about this video, right? Number one, the guests that attended. You got Xi Jinping from China, which the commentator described as one of Putin's closest allies. So the West is aware already that Putin has got allies. So this thing that the guy called NATO is not the only biggest elephant in the room right now. There is another one somewhere. What they call it, whether it got name or not, we don't know. But at least allies are people who are together with one interests. And then we had representation of the North Korean military or leadership. And that leadership is not just some guy that they went. In fact, everybody in that government is a military man. That's a military government. So that representation also shows that North Korea is an ally of Russia. Now, I think those are just the biggest names that they were calling. So you may have a small group there, But the interesting point you made was to see about
11,000 troops.
11,000 strong troops. And some countries do not even have 3,000 soldiers. But and guess what? Don't be fooled to believe that the 11,000 you saw marching today are the real group, because Russia is at war with Ukraine. So imagine the amount of soldiers on the battlefront, physically fighting. Then those ones that are on the standby. Then those ones that are on duty. plus the 11,000. We're talking about something 30, 40,000, man. And I think the Russian people, I haven't been to Russia before, but I think the Russian people, they've learned from this World War II. Okay, they learned how they suffer and how almost the whole of Europe was against them, led by the Nazis, and they were able to conquer. So they're saying that in time of peace, prepare for war. I think, and knowing fully well that the West is on the other side against them. So I think almost everybody in our country is militarily minded. That is, they got something in their mind one day that there will be attack. And I'm just talking out of the wild, I'm not sure of anything. But
so let me give you a little tip.
Mm-hmm.
We was told during that war, when the war entered what he called St. Petersburg, it used to be Leningrad.
Yeah.
When the war entered, it was the capital back then. They moved the capital to Moscow. Now today Moscow became the capital. And the Germans went as far as Moscow. That's when the Russians started pushing them back until they entered Berlin. Flo, I just want to give you that.
Yeah, so Bataki, our analyst Bataki is in the bar. He say now 1.5 million active military servicemen. Okay, so that's the population of some countries in the world. So you see, that people will be thinking that they can just override a country that got allies. No, let me tell you this. Yes, we agree that the West they've conglomerated and called themselves NATO, and they are even still fighting hard to recruit more members to NATO, because the war in Ukraine is all about trying to recruit Ukraine to become a member of NATO. You see, so it is bizarre that any group of people would think that they can just override other people. Now, I saw a video yesterday. I think I even shared it in our site about how many countries the United States alone has established military bases in. Is not only the United States but Russia as well. You see, so it covers almost the entire world, all over the place. Now, and when I saw that video, how they have spread their military wings all over the place. What is your interest? Why? What are you afraid of? Why is it that you alone will go and establish military bases all over the world? Now, then it comes to my mind the video where President Ibrahim Traore was quoting French President Macron as saying that he wants to convince Traore want to become friendly with him so they can re-establish that military base again. Now, then Traore asking, but you've been friendly with America from the time hair was up. You've been friendly with Great Britain, all the other countries. Do you have military bases there? And this is where the critical thinking should come in. Why is it that only in third world countries or smaller countries, America they want to go? So okay, my country, Liberia, you want to establish Africa in Liberia? Can Liberia say, okay, we want to go establish because I will not Barry, I go BTC. Can we go establish a branch of BTC somewhere in the States? And, I don't understand. And this is where a lot of people are not thinking.
When they do that, that means they come and take all your country resources from you.
Yeah, but
you made the penny on
them. They can't honor the guys.
Yeah.
Look at it critically.
Protect you.
Yeah, they can't honor the guys of protection, or you are at risk, you're not safe. So now listen, the same method they use to promote the fear factor in people's mind about the Bible. You gotta believe the Bible. If you don't believe it, you'll go to hell. So they come to you, they say, look, you're not safe. So let's establish our military base here, and then we'll protect you. And some of our, funny African leaders will fall for it. Because the first thing they know, they're not safe with their own citizens. Because they carry out corruption, they treat their citizens bad. So by the time they come in, the Westerners come and say, okay, you're not safe, we want to protect you, they agree. And this is how dictators are made. But when they make you that dictator, when they create you, okay, and then you are now certain time you're not abiding by what they want you to do, you become an enemy. I'm always asking this question: how did Chancellor break jail in America and run away and come to countries where American embassies are, and they deny arresting. When you know you cannot case it. Whereby if the CIA will go chase one guy who stole one pack of biscuit from one shop, the CIA will trace that man until they find him. But this is a man.
So leave for.
Yeah.
Leave for. They always, the Nigerian current president, Tinubu. Do you know he one of the biggest drugs dealer? He was arrested in New York. You don't know that?
I heard that story.
Oh, all the Nigerians will tell you. Yes. So guess what? People like him, it's easy for them to use him. Once a thief will always be a thief. You see? So this is why it is. If people that Tinubu can be was arrested before for good amount of cocaine he took to America, and he's the president of Nigeria. So what does that tell you? People like him, it's easy to do. They will go for him. Charles Taylor broke jail. What jail he broke? It was them that released Charles Taylor go and cause mayhem over there. That's the operation. If they're not satisfied with you, because the Charles Taylor
when they found out that he was not doing what they wanted him to do, then they grab him and all the war crime criminals in this war. Where are they in the Hague? Why he took the man saying to Great Britain? He alone. Yeah. In fact, you didn't even arrest him for. Let's just move around, But I don't know if you have any picture of Traore arriving in Moscow, or because when the people actually believe what we're saying, that this man went there. What do we discuss?
Yeah, he's there. It's not like I can bring the photos. I got some photo of he arriving there.
Right.
So he's there already.
Why are you looking for that photo? I just want to let the people know that, those of you who have been doubting, I got a lot of friends who say, oh, Traore is a dictator, Traore, and we need to get rid of him. And they are Africans, Liberians for that matter. Because they don't know.
I think he should be a dictator. If he's doing something good for the continent that everybody proud of, why can't he be a dictator and do it? Paul Kagame, isn't Paul Kagame a dictator? Everybody talk about Paul Kagame. If the God is doing something and he's not enriching himself, why not? So let's play this thing here about George Galloway on Traore, then we'll go to Iran before we go to Liberia. Let's play this. It's just a very interesting interview that George Galloway had with another African, and it's quite interesting.
Are they going to be able to kill Captain Traore? When I see the crowds outside his presidential headquarters saying you'll have to kill us first, I'm filled with joy and pride at that. How do you think the rest of Africa feels about that?
So I love the fact that the crowd gathered around his place and they say, no, you have to kill us before you kill him. But that's not even the protection that Ibrahim has. Okay, that's a good one. And I love it because in the last few weeks, I have been getting some information from sources I trust that a lot of Africans have been trooping into Burkina Faso, asking to be shown what to do to be able to stand and fight alongside Ibrahim Traore. So Burkina Faso is no longer a Sahelian thing. It's not an African revolution movement. That's what you see going on there. But here's why I believe they are not going to succeed this time with Ibrahim Traore. I was explaining this to the South African News Network a few days ago. I said, you see, no matter how you feel about your Africanness, we have already been crippled from the start. We are starting from a place of weakness on a race for life. Everybody is about to run, but we are crippled. We're running with one leg, one foot, and the rest of the people have their pair on the mark, ready to go. And then you give a gunshot and we start running on one foot, and the rest are running on the pair. This is what has happened to Africa all along. And I've been saying to people that as much as we want to feel so good about ourselves, as much as it makes for a really good sensual indulgence to think that, yeah, we can stand on our own, you really can't. We need a superpower that can say, I am going to align with you guys, okay? I really have some sort of enmity between me and your real enemy, which is the colonial powers. And if I can align with you, I can help you to decouple from the colonial powers. That has been my prayer for so many years, George. And that happened recently between Russia and the West, because the West kept going to Russia. You remember, of course, I've seen your show and I've talked about this for so many years about what happened between Russia and Ukraine, how that so many people are ignorant of what really went down, how that you told someone, I am not going to move 1 inch east, and then all of a sudden you've taken almost all the countries that were there that belong to that east. And now you expect the guy to be happy when you have come now right to his border. And then you think he's going to be okay. So when Russia saw all of that, Russia already knew and knows that the biggest thing the worst thing you can ever do to the colonial West is to take away the feeding bottle of the Africans, of African wealth from their mouth. And so Russia decided, you know what, maybe this is just time for me to start helping these guys to decouple from the colonial West. And that's exactly what happened. France has been getting our African countries. George, if you have time, I'll tell you this now. There was a news article that came out in 2017 by a German newspaper. According to that news article, they gained access to an information which they published verbatim about 440 billion euros, or maybe 500, was being paid to France every single year by African countries. I'm talking 14 French colonies in Africa. 14 colonies paying this to France every single year. And that's why Jacques Chirac, the former president of France, said, and I quote, he said, we have to be honest and acknowledge that the big part of the money in our banks comes precisely from the exploitation of the African continent. And in 2008, he followed it up with this. He said, without Africa, France will slide down in the rank of a third world power. This is buttressing the fact that without Africa, the colonial West is going to be in a big mess, especially France, which I regard as the worst of all the colonial powers in the world. So when Russia showed up, guess where it started from? It was from the Sahel, one of the French colonies, and that was Mali. And then after Mali, it was Burkina Faso. And then after Burkina Faso, it was Niger. And now let me break it down to the level people can understand. Let me tell you what really happened. So as these things are happening, Russia is providing logistics to make all this transformation happen. The true independence we're having in Africa today is all in the Sahel. And after that, Russia now goes into a security agreement with them. And when you come into a security pact or agreement with Russia, it simply means that when you get attacked, Russia is going to have to do something about that. So whoever is coming to attack you must take into cognizance the fact that Russia is on ground. And so you are attacking them, you are also attacking Russia. And Russia will bring their full military might in response to whatever attack you meet out to these countries. Between 2023 and 2024, Russia sent about 100 boots on ground after sending a bunch of military weapons, hardware, and stuff like that to Burkina Faso. And guess what? When the Kursk incursion, which I call Ukrainian misadventure, that was meant to distract Russia from its mission in Africa, when that happened, Russia had to cut down on the number of troops that were in Burkina Faso and quickly send them to Kursk. And which means that whatever the West did through Ukraine worked by distracting Russia. So they took some of the guys to Kursk to go and fight alongside the North Koreans and the other guys who were fighting to rescue that country and at the or that region. So at the end of the day, they have now fewer troops, Russian troops on ground that are there to protect Ibrahim Traore. That is apart from the guys that are very close to him in his protection. Guess what? At the end of the day, the mission of this troop, 100 troops that Russia sent, was not only just to provide security from terrorism in the country. They were also meant to train the Burkinabe soldiers So thankfully, a lot of soldiers have been trained in intelligence, in counterintelligence or counterinsurgency and all kinds of stuff. And those ones were able to work with the little contingent that Russia had on ground to be able to foil all the many numerous assassination attempts that I'm pretty sure you must have heard of, George, against this young man.
Sure.
You got it. So, you heard what this guy, he broke it down for people to understand it. So when we had our program, was seeing Traore, all of these attempted coup, it could be the African thing, but they have intelligence on the ground. The guy is protected. So what happened today? Yesterday, Putin sent his diplomatic jet for the young men to come for the program. He sent it. Go, come. It's not like taking commercial jet. So that how special is this young man. So think on
besides the private jet, he was also escorted by. I saw the picture. I saw the video. Escorted by military jet, and they said those jets are one of the some of the high class jets that Russia has in its fighter fleet. But I take a couple of things from what the gentleman said. Okechukwu said, and I think he made some sense, or he made a lot of sense. You know, when France and all the other colonial powers, especially like he mentioned France and emphasized, when France see that they are losing grip, they will go at any length to get it back. You know, I started an example, right? About the man treating his woman bad and one young Vulcan and just snatch the woman like that. Then at that time you want to show all the love, but sometimes you want to put up resistance. That I'm the husband, you know, instead of you even begging. I think the former economic minister of France, I forgot his name. He made some statement. I saw the video on Facebook. He said it was the stupidity of Macron, excuse me for the word, I'm quoting him. He said it was the stupidity of Macron that opened the eyes of Burkina Faso, the people of Burkina Faso. You see, and he is opting that Macron should out of go. If Macron doesn't go, France will lose grip. And they're thinking, so then somebody posted under there, this guy may be thinking he's still living in the Stone Age. So you think if you move Macron today by any other means, whether you voting out, you impeach him or whatever you do to him, and then bring in somebody new, one new president, who you think will come to Africa and start talking to all the French colonies, you think it's going to change anything? Everybody's eyes open. And I'm telling you, Paul, it's going to be a wave of revolutions. I mean, revolutions. Anyway, anyhow, whether it's militarily or it'll be through the battle box. All those former French colonies, or besides that, all those other colonial powers that got their stooges in power in Africa calling themselves president, you guys better be on your watch. Because if you think these Western countries can protect you, it's false. Now, we go back to the BB countries establishing their military bases. And, you know, I don't know how would France fight, if at all they want to fight in Burkina Faso. How would they fight? They have to pick up from one of the African countries. And that African country that will be harboring their base. If anybody want to help Burkina Faso too, to want to retaliate, is the leader of that African country thinking about his people? Liberia wants to allow Africa to be established, military base to be established. God forbid, if America engages in any skirmishes with any other country, and then that country got power too, they want to come, because, you know, I remember they said to put out the fire, you got to go to the source. We were doing fire drill here. And one thing they got to us is, don't look at the flame of the fire, look for the source. So if you see, you hear the bullet fire and you see jet bomber then coming, look for where that jet bomber is coming from. Don't go shoot the bomber in the air, look for where it's coming from, look for the base. So if Liberia got African, and then America getting conflict with some country, and that country is all close to America, I mean, or to Africa or to Liberia. Tell me what will happen. So but I can promise them that the Africans' eyes are opening. This is a big eye opener. The West, they got sense. The people got sense. They wouldn't be shaking. They wouldn't be going all over the place, shaking in their pants. If this was just one small thing that happened that they got control over, but they know now they have lost grip on African countries. It's just a matter of time. Trust me, Paul. I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time. We're going to hear coups. Those leaders will be very stubborn to relinquish power. Coups will happen. Coups will happen.
Okay, so Lifa, if you listen to that guy play what he said, the Pan-African nation is start with 3 countries. If you're going to start with 3 countries, why do you think there must be democracy there? Because when it comes to democracy, those are the very people that will bring into destabilize the whole thing. So they will not be dictator, but they will be the 3 countries that will guard that going forward. You see, Gaddafi, why Gaddafi took so long? Because if it was this so-called democracy, the Western democracy that does not work for Africa, what do you get? The guy who get money that have no good intention wins the election. But with this guy, they're not buying Lamborghini. They're not buying fancy clothes. They wear their military uniform throughout. But who benefit? The people are benefiting from their style of leadership. So why can you just keep them there, let them do the right thing? Then so there are 3 countries. Maybe when another country join them, when they have over 10 other African countries join, we'll be heading somewhere. Because they started with the French, they need the other African countries around, you get the English colony, they need to do it with the English people too.
Yeah, they are strategy.
Get rid of them.
Strategizing. You know, let me tell you one thing, Paul.
Yes.
I told you, look at my own country, look at our own country, Liberia, right? You think our president can stand and look America in the face right now, as we speak, and say no to Africa? No. Number one, the amount of money we owe the IMF, even if you sell all of us, I don't know where the resources will go, but sell all of us and all the pregnant women, sell all the water, the 6 big rivers we got in Liberia, sell all the fish inside, sell all the mountain with all the iron ore, skin the ground, and sell all the gold and diamond under there. We still can't pay the IMF. Because that's from where it's around time. So the people hands tied. Our leader, most African countries, their hands are tied. They can't do anything. They can't do a chain thing. So they will still be doing the only person that can stand in front of these people and say no, that people like the likes of Ibrahim Traore. But do we have anybody like that in Liberia? Do we have anybody like that in Guinea? Do we have anybody like that in Sierra Leone? Do we have? And the people eyes are opening, but it will take, look, like I said, it will take time. Because right now, I let us use Liberia as an example because that's where I come from, right? Liberia, our president can now just go tell America anything right now. So it take it bele, let me say in Liberia, take it easy until that right time comes. Look, I will tell you one thing. The West is aware that there's a new wave of revolution in Africa right now. They know. Hey man, how many times from way back from colonial days, how many countries or how many leaders in Africa you see have stood in front of people and said, okay, out of here. Gaddafi tried. Okay.
This is the new trend.
Yeah, this is a new trend.
Yeah.
But you see, and there's also mixed reactions or things are happening. Look, I have a video that I sent to you today where this Ghanaian lady, the interviewer, the Ghanaian lady talks. Okay, I sent that video to our page. The Ghanaian lady said, look, this is a revolution and we will have to fight it. Okay? And one of the things that Africans are very good at doing is that, we depend on the West. We depend everything about us. We depend. Even if you're hungry, say, hey, the international community, the men we're fighting, they say, oh, you're calling the international community. You send your son to draw water, you say, oh, I'm tired, I'm not in there. Say you're calling. So these people believe that we are so dependent on them that we cannot do anything of our own. But we got to break that shackle. it's all in the mind. That some people say, oh, you can't tell America that. I know. I read somewhere. I wanted to copy. Somebody say, oh, the people are stepping on the American flag, and in some country say, oh no, you're not supposed to do that. Can you imagine that you hold one country way up there above the other one, and the people of that country you put there above the other people? So I mean, I don't understand. So it depends. If your house doesn't sell you, the street will not buy you. So we have sold ourselves to these people. We make them to be. How in the hell did we even become slave for them? But that was back then. So now that we know that we're not supposed to become slave, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to fight for emancipation. And all the country, America, they did not become great. Reading the Bible, being good, they kill people. People died. So if it costs Africans to die to free our own continent, we'll do it. No, we are the only race on earth.
So Linford. So Linford, the way the thing going like a sea wave about this young men across Africa, young people. Look at the huge young people that took on the street all across the globe. Young people. Isn't that a fear factor now for some of the leaders that those countries around, they may have young people with that mindset of Traore that will be getting rid of them? Because remember in the 80s, before the 80s,
yeah, in that thing I'm talking, I said, look, this thing here.
Before the 80s, right? Before the 80s, there were coups upon coups upon coups upon coups, right? But those coup leaders they had a mindset of just being dictators. But the new trend that have started with these young people doing something like that, and other people want their country to be there. Burkina Faso, the young people will rise and say at some point, say, look, enough is enough. I'm going to gamble. And this will start going like a wave across. And at that point, that's why and the statement that Marco has made, that when Africans now realize, this is that generation that realizes, no, if Burkina Faso and Niger and Mali is doing this, why can't we do the same? We don't want to be like these other people want to move too. So this is the fear factor. Go on.
To the stooges, the Western stooges that we got in Africa as leaders. Now, like I said, it's a gradual process because we don't expect. I don't expect my president right now to jump and go stand in front of America and say anything. The same way we don't expect Tinubu from Nigeria, which is one of the most powerful countries in Africa, to stand in front of Great Britain and say anything. In fact, when this thing started, when General Langley made a statement about Traore, a week after, Tinubu was invited to France. This is a British colony president, but what he's doing in France, standing and taking pictures of Macron, nobody knows. And because ECOWAS, because Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali broke away from ECOWAS, and so ECOWAS see themselves as enemy of these three countries, so they do anything possible, knowing that it's ECOWAS who can start anything, and then it will flame up. But that's a big lie. No, because what will happen is the military in those ECOWAS countries themselves might be divided. So while you're sending one other military to go fight Burkina Faso, your own military might be split, or they might be split and fighting at home. So your truth that you want to send to Burkina Faso to go fight Burkina Faso government will have to come back to fight your own insurgents at home. So it's going to be something. It's going to spread. But what I can tell you, that revolution is a revolution. This is not an event. To say the event will start today and it will end this time, that the time when it will start and finish. This is not an event. This is a gradual
it's a gradual process.
Revolution. So it started with 3 countries. We're still waiting. Ghana is shaking because Ghana. So I heard Ghanaian citizens, not soldiers, but Ghanaian citizens have gone to Burkina Faso to volunteer to fight. And in the meantime, I also saw pictures, videos of U.S. troops, U.S. donating several military hardware to Ghana. Under the same guys that will protect them. So we protecting here. I don't understand. Yeah? And America has
I said this thing.
Yeah, go.
let's pray God for long
I
life.
don't pray God.
In
I
the
don't pray
next
God for looking
10,
at things.
20. So, well, that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years or 20 years, mark today's date. There will be before 5 years from now, you will find another military leader in Africa, especially West Africa.
I'm telling you, they're in 2025, it will not end. You will hear something somewhere. Yeah. Trust me. I'm telling you, trust me.
That's it will happen. And
just by disclaimer, we are not promoting violence in Africa or in West Africa or anywhere else. But what we're saying is that people's eyes are open. And so if they go to their leader and say, "Look, do this," and the leader refuses, there are two things. If you can't vote them out of power, you move them by force. Two things. I mean, democracy and military coup, they go together. When one is not working, the other one can work. You go, you say, "My man, we're voting you out." They go to regular election. So what is your next option? Move them by force. Okay? Simple. So because democracy, when democracy leaves, then military force comes in. Or when military force leaves, then democracy comes in. So they are brothers. Again, one of them is bright and the other one is black. one that black, one that fair skin there. See it? So one of them will happen somewhere. It could be through election or whatever. Trust me. Those guys that are in power that do not do the right thing for the people, when everybody are opening the electorates, when they go to vote, they also vote you up. That's why we want, people and leaders with plan. That's why African elections, people who are running in African elections should come with plan and tell you, say, this is what I will do. Do not just go and vote for anybody because they give you. And when I talk, I even feel shy to say these things when my own country is not practicing it. Can you imagine? That somebody will give you burger and you go vote for them. So whether you die tomorrow after voting for him, man, whether you die tomorrow is not his business because he already gave you burger to eat on that day. But move on, Paul.
So you asked a question earlier. Say, why is it the U.S. carrying bases all over the place? They have over 200 plus bases all around the world. Over that. They have it. But now, and then lately, before we transition to Liberia, this one here, it will be the Russian news. They call RT today. They did a documentary. Why is it that America is behind Iran? There is a reason behind this. Because NATO, there are about 32 countries that put together called that North Alliance, that they are so-called alliance that they have. 32 countries. Media America and European countries, there are about 32. Against 1. If down China, they're against that Russia. If down Russia, that Iran. Those three countries that point up. Lately, North Korea came in the picture because of the Rocket Man. But it's always those three countries that go behind the 32 nations. So Russia News Today decided to explain why Iran become the problem, and they also is a major player, that the only way America can survive to actually break this down. So to our audience, it's about 7-minute clips. The first one, this will take the different dimension. So follow us. We'll read your comments after this one. We'll get to the next one. Let's watch.
Had chemical weapons, that Gaddafi was a madman, that Assad gassed his people. Now they're telling you that Iran is nuking up. Well, they didn't tell you that Saddam was dumping the dollar, that Gaddafi dreamt of a gold-backed Pan-African dinner, that Assad switched to budgeting in euros, and that Iran?
We've got Hezbollah being funded by Iran. Correct?
Correct.
We have Hamas being funded by Iran. Correct?
Correct.
We have the Houthis being funded by Iran.
Correct.
We've got all the militias in Iraq. And we now have dead Americans because of the money going back to Iran. Correct? All roads go back to Iran.
Well, not quite. All roads lead through Iran. Since ancient times, Persia has been a nexus of transport and trade. Slaves and spices, jewels and jade, gunpowder and gold. The Silk Road was a bridge between East and West. And Iran was the gateway. As then, so now. And just as there were bandits in the first century, there are bandits in the 21st century too. But instead of swords, they wield sanctions. And that has been the catalyst for Iran's renaissance, for its morphing into a linchpin of the new world order. And one of its pillars, the international north-south transport corridor, over 7,000 kilometers long. Ship, road, rail, the Indian Ocean linking to the Persian Gulf, the Caspian Sea, Russia, and onto Western Europe. Eurasia is embarking on a whole new voyage, and world trade is being remapped.
As soon as this project is implemented, then accordingly, we will have a route and the possibility of deliveries, both in transit to Europe and deliveries from Russia to the Persian Gulf. In fact, this is a global change in transport and logistics routes, and this project may become an alternative to the Suez Canal.
40% shorter and 30% cheaper than that man-made waterway through which more than $1 trillion in goods transit annually. And the first stop, the port at Bandar Abbas. Then the train north to Bafq, then on to Tehran, and then anywhere. And you know what you won't spot on the way? A NATO patrol boat, a US aircraft carrier, an RAF spy plane. This route lies beyond Western control, geographical and financial.
When finished, the new link is expected to be completed in 2028. The resulting north-south transport corridor will stretch unbroken for more than 4,300 miles, out of reach of Western sanctions.
It charts a course away from those waters dominated by the transatlantic alliance. It allows for settlement in national currencies. It strengthens the Russia-Iran-India triangle. It further integrates the 5 Caspian states. It gives Moscow a greater foothold in both the Persian Gulf and the Indian Ocean. And it marks a new era. For so long, Russia looked west, traded west, bet on the West. And 24,000 sanctions later, you could say that the gamble didn't pay off. Except wasn't it actually a clean sweep? Because the West has waned, and other stars have risen and will stay high precisely because of projects like these.
BRICS countries are a driving force of worldwide economic growth. In the foreseeable future, BRICS alone will contribute the bulk of the global GDP increment. Our association is building upon relevant development platforms, including communication channels, technological and educational standards, financial systems, payment tools, and, of course, mechanisms for sustainable and long-term investment. As a result, the impact of external influence on the economic growth of BRICS members will diminish steadily. Essentially, this is what economic sovereignty is all about. It amounts to a partnership between self-sufficient economies that expands their potential many times over and opens up new opportunities.
You see, diminishing external influence. The US neutering Iran isn't about nukes. It is about ensuring external influence. Install a friendly face in Tehran, a Shah 2.0, and you curb Russia geopolitically and economically. You fracture global South interconnectivity, and you guarantee that no drop of oil, no grain of wheat, no container of cargo anywhere in the world can sail without fear. The US taking on Iran is about taking back control, the thing Washington is most desperate not to lose. And when you're desperate, you'll do almost anything.
Well, they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Did you mean military action, though, if they don't agree?
Oh, if necessary? Absolutely. Yeah.
Again, with these nuclear weapons, all we want is a deal. All Tehran has to do is renounce its world-ending ambitions, even though less than a month ago, US intel agencies unanimously agreed Tehran doesn't actually have any.
We continue to assess Iran as not building a nuclear weapon, and that Khamenei has not reauthorized the nuclear weapons program he suspended in 2003, though pressure has probably built on him to do so.
So why this obsession? And why is it actually that every time a Washington hawk talks Iran, they also talk black gold?
We have to constrain their cash. We have to constrain their oil. We have to go back to maximum pressure.
The Iranian oil trade and the regime's massive profits from it must be shut down immediately.
The United States is taking decisive action against anyone involved in facilitating Iran's oil sales at any stage of the supply chain.
Do you want to block the sale of Iranian oil to other nations?
Well, we have the right to do that, and that's what I did before.
We can, again, as I like to say, make Iran poor again. Then at the same time, they have our domestic producers push that up with the highest energy standards in the world.
Iran's making exponentially more money on selling that oil that we're allowing because we've walked away from maximum pressure.
Iran's total.
So, Linford, that is part one of this. It's another, we get part two, which is 6 minutes. But before you talk to me about this, they will take a quick commercial break before we go to the part two. So the whole thing here is, it's not about Iran having nuclear weapon. They know what is coming. It's economic power. These BRICS nation, the level which they go and Tehran is the middleman that sit there. So if we destabilize Tehran, it will not happen. What say you, Linford?
See, I don't think anybody should be even wondering why is America or the West against Iran and all those countries in the Far East or in the Arab countries. The oil-rich lands are the ones that they go for. Is America looking for dictators? No, they're not looking for dictators, but they are looking for excuses to invade countries. They said Saddam he had weapons of mass destruction. And weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something you can put in your pocket and walk around with it. When they went to Iraq, they didn't even see anything that resembles weapons of mass destruction. If any big bombs, tons of bombs, several tons of bombs were exploding there. It was their own bomb that they carried that were exploding. Okay? Today, they come and admit that, we lie about that. And see, they are admitting. So the rest of the world now knows that they will not invade any country for any good reason. They do it because they want to have control of the oil. Now, it's all about this, the colonial power, the colonial mentality, where they want to control. But now that their own law is made, they say no more slavery. So they can't take anybody as slave. What they do is they take everything that you have from you so that you'll be dependent on them. If you're poor, you got everything. You got your house, you got everything, your clothes, everything. Yeah. Then I take everything from you. Now, before you wear shoes, you come to me and say, "Mama, can I wear shoes?" I said, "Okay. Where you going?" "I'm going to party." "How good is the party?" "Okay, you can wear sneaker." Or if the party is good, very good, you will wear shoes too, or you must bring the shoes back. Okay, that's what they do. That they are controlling the economic slavery that they are doing. And how in the world that you alone, who appointed, who had election, who elected you as world police, that is something that's happening way on the other side, you go there. Even if the people don't call you.
Exactly. It got nothing to do with you.
Look at Ibrahim Traore. Then Langley will say that Ibrahim Traore is using Burkinabe's gold. You say using Guinea-Bissau gold or Sierra Leone gold, they say what? They go from Burkina Faso. Okay?
Go.
Yeah. What concerns you? Yeah? You know, the thing, no, let me tell you, something will have to happen, and it will be something big. That's what they call World War I and World War II, that they say the Europeans were fighting themselves, they say that World War Allah. The real World War will start. It may not be out there. The real World War will
not be out there. So
yeah. I mean,
take a quick commercial.
Let me do the disclaimer, right? We are not I'm not encouraging war. I'm not promoting war. But the thing is visible. I saw a video where somebody said the countries that hate each other, and they said this one hate one, they one hate one, they one. But if you look at the equation, all the countries that hate each other, they are not as many as the countries that hate America and the countries that America hate. So America alone stands on the edge. I hate Paul, but then Paul also hate Jima. Jima hate me, but Jima also hate Paul. You know it. So you see, you create enemy all around the world. Nobody beg you to come and say, be our policeman, be the one to take care of us. But you want to go and say, yeah, I am the superpower. No. But then when another group of people want to wake up and say they are super powerful, and we get back.
I have the gun. Yeah. So let's take a quick commercial break and then we'll get to the part 2 of it before we move to the Liberian cycle.
Di Lorenzo, G Grace. Hems vocal, Liberia number 1 vocal. Liberia number 1, right? Okay.
The phrase, a new sheriff is in town, does not only belong to law enforcement. How about the introduction of Liberia's premier vodka, a quality and customized liquor for all occasions? Try the flavor of your choice. Hans Vodka, Hans Honey, Hans Bitter, and Hans Original Vodka. Hans Vodka has no hangover. That's why they say Papa drank Mama happy. Hans Vodka is sold in all stores, shops, supermarkets, and entertainment centers in Liberia. For wholesale, contact Hans Vodka at 0777 001114, 0777 000 We can also be reached via social media on Facebook and IG at Hans Vodka or www.hansvodka.com. In the United States, please contact Hans North America Incorporated at 610-543-9289, 484-888-1622, 484-755-8411. Hans Vodka is approved by the U.S. federal government. Hans Vodka brings out the real man in you.
I tell you in my core, in my blood. Every time when I stay on the block, everybody knows it. We hustle. And forgot that number 1. Oh, from Liberia all around. In supermarket store and everywhere. And forgot that number 1. Oh.
You know what I love about the commercial break? See, Papa drink, Mama happy. So
what can make Mama happy now?
When Papa drink.
Yeah, anyway, you can bring a real man in you. You can bring all the men.
Yeah, so
the commercial bro.
When Papa drink, Mama happy. Welcome, Francis.
You see, Papa,
how you guys doing, my man?
Well, we are great. Welcome, Francis.
We are great.
I just got in. I had to get on the show before the last 30 minutes before.
I know, right? I know. But let's welcome a few people in. Paul, you go ahead. Let's get welcome Philip Carty. He was here the other day, and Eddie Carlos. I think this is the first time you are here, Eddie. This is the bottom line Liberia discussions. Here we discuss the issue as it is. we just give you our opinion. Somebody talking about your knowing of hearing it, but we are just looking at it from different perspectives. The same way it will bring elephant here. We say you describe it. Everybody will get description of that elephant in his own way. And also want to say welcome to Sam D. Brooks. You're pleased about to share the show, and you are welcome. We come here every Tuesday and Friday, and at 7 o'clock Liberian time if you happen to be in Liberia. So by 7 o'clock, make your way here. And in Europe, it's 9 Central European time, and GMT, that's Greenwich Mean Time. I think it's 8 o'clock. You're living in the UK. Okay. So we're here every Tuesday and Friday and make this place your home. Francis, welcome. Paul, proceed.
Yeah, so we were talking about the importance of Iran. So we're going to the part 2 of this clip. So
in this world, the ones that literally keep economies well-oiled, Iran will be a hub.
Iran has the most reliable, safest, and most economical transit or swap route for crude oil, natural gas, and petrochemical products to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and the Indian subcontinent in the east, and Turkey and Iraq in the west, and to the international markets of the Persian Gulf countries.
And are they going to be trading in the greenback? Well, I doubt it. Iran currently sells around 90% of its oil to China, and it gets paid in renminbi. 96% of Iranian-Russian trade happens in either the ruble or the rial. And around a fifth of global oil trade now happens without a single dollar bill swapping hands. Now, two giants are pooling resources and tapping the untapped. And you don't think that will shift the balance of power in the global market? You don't think the US is terrified about losing the authority to dictate whom energy is sold to and on what terms? We all saw the terror around Nord Stream 2. This is the same threat, but bigger. And it's bigger because of the precedent it could set. If they can do this with oil and gas, then why not wheat? Why not coal or minerals? It's got it all and is finding yet more. A whole other platform for commodities trading is being sketched out right now, and Iran is a key architect of it. But it's not the only one. And here is where we get to what all this is actually about. And it ain't Iran. Remember what I showed you at the start, Mike Waltz? Well, I wasn't totally honest with you. I might have edited it a little because I wanted you to see the small picture before I showed you the big picture.
All roads go back to Iran, but really, it's Chinese money that is fueling Iran, that is fueling terrorism.
You see, the Islamic Republic is a bit of a jewel for the People's Republic. And in part, that is because of location, location, location. To its north, the Caucasus. To its east, Central Asia. To its south and west, the Middle East. It sits at the crossroads to everywhere. So little wonder it's a part of the Belt and Road family. Iran lies along the southern corridor, which runs from Xinjiang through 7 Central Asian countries to the Persian Gulf. It is the safest and shortest land corridor for Chinese goods to reach Europe. And it opens the door for Beijing politically and economically. In fact, Iran is facilitating Biden's worst nightmare.
Let me state clearly that the United States is going to remain an active, engaged partner in the Middle East. We will not walk away and leave a vacuum to be filled by China, Russia, or Iran.
But this isn't just about enhancing Beijing's clout in the Middle East at a time when U.S. credibility is at an all-time low. China's meteoric rise is thanks to what? Industrialization. Its industrialization is thanks to what? Energy. What kind of energy? Old school fossil fuel energy. Since the 90s, more than 50% of China's oil imports have come from the Arabian Peninsula. But there's a catch. The majority of oil-producing nations there are close allies of America, an increasingly hostile and belligerent America.
to the Chinese Communist Party. You either change or there will be consequences coming from the Trump administration and the Congress.
It's time for us to go on the offensive and abandon illusions about what kind of adversary we're faced. This is not a managed competition. This is a competition we must win.
China has too much influence over the Panama Canal, and America's going to take it back.
I say, and what I've learned and what I've seen in my long career is China understands only one thing: the stick. Give them the stick.
We don't want you buying our land. We don't want you taking the land and basically taking it off the market. We don't want you doing it. And they're buying at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We don't want you buying. It's very easy to do. That's a very easy thing to do. But it's causing a lot of disruption, and that's what they want to do.
If we don't change course, we are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese allow us to have it or not. That's an unacceptable outcome.
So wouldn't you look to a nation with the lowest risk, to a nation which shares some of your misgivings about Washington, to a nation which you already cooperate with in BRICS and the SCO, one which is the second largest owner of gas reserves, the third largest owner of oil reserves, and the one which controls the Strait of Hormuz, the most important oil transit choke point in the world. The one who understands that your energy security is your economic survival. I think you would. China and Iran are not necessarily allies, but they are strategic partners. Theirs is a perfect marriage of geopolitical imperative and economic necessity. So, no, long story short, it's not about Iran. And next time Lindsey Graham comes out saying something like this:
Hit Iran. They have oil fields out in the open. They have the Revolutionary Guard headquarters you can see from space. Blow it off the map.
Understand that what he's actually saying is take China out. Cut off its oil. Cut off its markets. Cut off its partners, its logistics, current supplies, long-term investments. Cut it all off. Lay siege to the nation in our rear-view mirror and do everything to make sure it never overtakes us. Because that's what this is, fundamentally. Nothing more than a refusal to accept that someone is coming for your crown.
Someone is coming for your crown. So, Linford, you asked the question, why? You know, the dollar being so powerful, and China is the threat, not Russia. China is the threat to America's survival. And guess what? Tehran is just there, the architect of all of this. That comes in the BRICS nation, that we will trade without using dollars. That is the fear. Welcome to the Bottomline discussion, fellows. This is where we bring international news. We dissect it from all angles. We don't depend on one group of people. We get our sources from everywhere. Linford, Francis, you just come in. What you say, you Linford? You heard the question he asked. Why this big fear? The dollar is diminishing.
You know, let me tell you one thing. I saw this American guy made a podcast video, and he said America is declining and America will fall. This is American, not from different country, pure American. Now, you know where America miscalculated. America goes around investing more in military affairs than meeting or strengthening their economy. Go to America and see the number of youths that are just doing good time. And go to China and see 10, 15 years old kids sitting down. I bought a computer when I was in the UK. I bought a computer. I was using that computer. It got spoiled. Nothing be spoiled on it. Just, you see the plug? Where you can put a plug in a computer. It was shaking because our prime minister said that, and it was shaking, so it couldn't work. I tried everywhere in the UK, they couldn't repair it. I came to Norway. I carry everywhere. Here, but they didn't repair anything. You got to buy a new one. I had a friend in Philippines who said, "Don't throw that computer away. Bring it to the face." I said, "I carry the thing all what it." She said, "Bring it." I carry it. Pour to God. What we call God? It took 2 minutes to fix that thing. I delivered the thing to the boy. He said, "Sir, go and come back. I'll call you." I left from upstairs. I came down to buy the shake to drink. I didn't even finish. The boy called me. He said, "Sir, he said you that brought the computer." I said, "He said, come and get it." I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Come and get it." Can you imagine? It took 2 minutes. No, Asia. For some reason, God gave them the brain. Now, I'm in the maritime. I'm in shipping, logistics. Go to the UK. Go to all the ports in the UK. See the amount of empty containers that are part of there. All over Europe here, Africa, part that empty container home. Go to America, all the ports. I live in Houston. That's my place. Go there, go to Galveston and see the amount of empty containers. And you know why? In shipping, the most difficult thing that even PhD holders in logistics and shipping have tried to solve is the replacement of empty containers. What is the reason? The reason is that everything that we use, almost everything, is manufactured in the East. And they transport it here in container. When it comes here, what does the West have to produce that the Chinese want? Zero, nada, nothing. Are these the people you're getting trade war with? Yeah? You take all of your major countries, you outsource them. Your major companies, you outsource them in China or in Asia. And then you think you can fight them? And they do it even better than you. Everything that you consume, it comes from there. I think Donald Trump is just the man who will break down America. And I will tell you that for fact. But let's go to the main topic here. America is falling. They have invested all of their money in warfare, on military, trying to be powerful. Now they're trying to see how they can get that money back. And so the only way they can get it is to go and arm twist all countries that have the use. It's not going to work. You see, you know how much money they have spent? The war in Iraq alone. You know how much money they spent? The war that are going on all over in Ukraine now. Okay? You think why is here Donald Trump cry? They spend all that money trying to exert power. But then the people that you're exerting the power over are also getting powerful and they are saying no. So what are you going to do? You want to arm twist Iran to get that oil? You cannot. You know, we got to watch. We got to wait and see. America is crumbling little by little. It's not me saying it, and I don't wish, but just look at it. The pictures are clear. The handwritings are on the wall. You can see. Why you go all over the world, you investing in military activities, while other countries are investing in technology? Yeah? China, you know, during the Olympics, they had the American mathematics team, right? And the Chinese mathematics team. America had tried 6 times. 6 different Olympics to try to win the Chinese mathematics team. They can't make it. You know what they did? They used Chinese Americans. That was the only way they were able to win China. So it was China that was winning China. So you about these people. These people, leave them alone, do your own thing, and let the other people do their own thing. Why you be the most powerful person in the world? And you cannot be the most powerful person because power does not belong to you. God distributes power to people. Come on, Paul.
So, okay. Let me bring Francis. I know in life, at some point, the country that I live in, there was an emperor. They were very powerful. Then the Romans were powerful. The Greeks were powerful. They all, at some point, they have to drop. So the BRICS nation, what they started, that's the fear of the American, because that dollars,
of course,
is powerful. What say you from listening? Although you came late, there's another half of that clip you didn't listen to. They were just the middle and the ending part of this clip. So, from what would be your take from what you just heard?
Look, guys, look, I'm so sick and tired of America imperialism. America feels that it is the only country on the face of the planet Earth that has the capacity to become moral police, relations police, social police,
Evil
and
police.
this evil police, they orchestrate evil against people, but they feel as though they are untouchable. And look, America as a country, it has created a lot of enemies around the world based upon its tenets. Look, China is an economic giant, military giant. China has positioned itself in Africa, where America over the years and European countries over the year used to dominate politically. They used to control these countries. These countries no longer listen to them. Besides stupid Liberia, the only country in West Africa, a matter of fact, because we are so dumb as a group of people who have no balls.
No, we own the people back.
And that we always think that, look, hey, this is, we are part of America. Look, we just look at the hypocrisy of American geopolitical standards. I mean, there are happenings around the world. We look at the people in Gaza. The America preach on empathy, humanity, the right to freedom, to existence, to life, and it's supporting Israel. Israel has demolished the country. Israel has pushed the people to the brink of to the borders, and it have been any other country in the world, America will be talking something else. They'll be criticizing that leader, calling dictator. But even the utterances from America, it has taken the shape of dictatorship. Marcus Rubio, the Lindsey Graham, the Pete Hegseth. I mean, who gave them the more authority? Look, I'm so sick and tired by the way American stuff, man. Their actions are unbecoming. And Russia and China, these countries will survive. There's no amount of threat in Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine cannot do anything to Russia. Russia is just taking its time. And listen, guys, let me tell you before I close. I will say this all the time. If you guys look at the trend, Israel's engagement in the Middle East, in Palestine, hitting Syria, hitting targets in the Middle East. As Israel hit these targets, Russia hits Ukraine harder. What's the correlation?
Yeah.
So,
and friends say you spot on.
Nobody has the voice, the guts to say anything to Russia. Russia is not talking. Russia is a silent doer, the bobo there. That Birmingham say. You're hitting the people. You're hitting the Palestinians. We hate their interests. A good America now. And then let them put boots on the ground in Russia. I mean in Ukraine. And when they know the Russians,
they can't do it. They can't do it. And friends say you strike up. You said it all because what? When it started, you learn that the Russian, Ukraine will win this war. Ukraine will win this war. Because what? At some point, our prime minister here, Boris Johnson, said, "Oh, we shouldn't mind Putin bluff every time they talk about." But then, what they didn't realize that the Russian will always be Russian. They put their country first. When it comes to military, they put it first. And then something that history taught us when we studied in Russia, that during the war, when Germany entered St. Petersburg, where was Leningrad at the time, the men were at the front. It was the women that went in the factory. They were producing arms. See, the Russian women were the arm producer. They were producing while the men were on the battlefront. When this something started, they started hitting Russia hard. Now Russia have increased their arm productivity. So now they have brought in more arms, and they realize that we're not going to win these people. They always start slow, and then they go on a fast pace. So now let's pull out. But pulling out is just a disgrace that they say, oh, there's a peace talk. But you cannot engage the man to talk to him. You want to come in like you playing Mickey Mouse team. Why can't you just meet?
No, go ahead,
Come
Paul.
on, friend.
Sorry,
Say you want to say something.
No, listen.
Yeah.
Let me just
So
tell
if
you
you want
something.
to, okay, go on.
No, end your thoughts. End your thoughts, Paul. End your thoughts. End your thoughts, Paul.
If you want a peace, if you want peace, what do? You bring all the big players, you all sit on the table and discuss. But you cannot have a dialogue behind closed door and then you say, oh, we have to do it this way or do it this way. So in reality, they don't want peace. They just finally meet. And then the other group came out and said, let's have the coalition or the waiting. Let's continue pumping arms. So America know they spend more. We'll pull back. Yeah, the other guys continue wasting their money. Let not turn around to Tehran. Maybe some will get China over there. It's a bit. So Francis, say what you want to say. Let me
look. What you call Iran. China has built a strong relationship with Iran. Look, Iran is just thinking about its people, but the Iranians will stand up to Israel because they don't want confrontation. And Iran knows that any aggression from Israel and the retaliate for America wants to come. America using, I think, has a subterfuge, a subterfuge to attack Iran. And second, before I close, I think in my mind, the game America is trying to play now with that whole mineral agreement deal with Ukraine is like, we are mining in this area. Let's say they are mining in, or they are you mining in what we call it Mariupol. Let's say that. So there's a strategy to avoid the Russians attacking those areas. It's like if you attack those areas that we are mining, then you're attacking us. America wants to ignore. So it's all about it's a scam. It's like, I mean, you talk about being politically or geopolitically, or you are the omnipotent God, and then you want to you go to the poor country and sign a mineral deed and extract all the resources. I mean, I just start with the American talk, man. Look, I mean, sometimes it's just annoying.
Okay, guys, this is why I like about the show. But let's work on, as we go on, people are joining. Let's work on Rambo Tony from Tinker's Village.
That's
also,
my nephew.
Yeah, also my sister Rachel May, love tea holder. She's I think in Holland, and a couple of other people that came on later on during the show. Great one, of course, he's always here, and Bataki and the rest of you guys help us to share the show. Paul, the Lord Children is in the UK, London to be specific. Francis Mensa in Sweden. I'm here in Norway. My name is Linford Goy. And together we are bringing you information as we see it from our side, from our own perspectives. Now, guys, I told you guys earlier on that America has become a broke country. And they say the period goes sweating. But you can see the sweat because you get hair. America of all countries. You saw what they did, you saw how they humiliated Zelensky at the Oval Office. They tried to force the war into mineral D, that rare earth mineral, forcing. That even he tried to talk, I remember the kind of situation. They show people, or let's say, police may arrest you or something, they don't want you to talk. Even if you want to explain, they say, no, don't talk. Now, I want to take you guys back to Hiroshima. Francis says something that he's tired with this American dominance, where they feel their superpower. Let me take you back to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. When America just went randomly and bombed Hiroshima, Japan, that today, that particular piece of area, trees cannot grow there, nothing. They use atomic bomb. As we speak, if other countries like Iran, Russia, and all the other countries did not have atomic bomb or nuclear bomb, America will be parading that thing all over. Every day you see them carrying it. When you toss it, they turn it to you, you run into yourself. But because those countries have developed it, how many all the people in America can be, how many times you see them carrying nuclear bomb or somewhere? No, they will not try it. Because they know they would listen. Yeah, the little fat jaw boy in the north there. That little fat jaw boy. Small piggy, he get challenged the whole group. They run away. All the people they make it.
Calling the rocket man.
Yeah, the rocket man. Why they can't go move the rocket man? If they can move Saddam Hussein, they can move Gaddafi. Why they can't go move the rocket man? They will not try it. You see, so they have invested so much in this military business to be powerful, and they have become broke. They're looking for a way now to be forcing people to get a million. They will get more broke to the end where some of them, that country, they will start begging people. They got to kind of negotiate. I talked to some of my African friends, Liberian friends. Oh, and this thing, you're not good. You're not sort of Burkina Faso, not sort of draft France, the French government away, and this and that. So I said, oh, listen. Let me tell you, if you always think that somebody is stronger than you, maybe you are stronger than that person, but you don't know. But because you do know how strong you are, so you believe that somebody else is stronger than you, and you will be afraid of that person. Nobody's driving Europeans from Africa. Nobody's driving, because we Africans, we are in Europe, and we have the right to be here, because the reason is they went to us. No African country colonized any European country. We didn't come first, they went to us. So if they didn't like us, they wouldn't have gone there. So we are here, we can visit them too. They were with us first. So we follow them to come back. Okay? So it's our right to be here. In as much as we speak, some of them are still there. Now all the French citizens are, we're taken from Burkina Faso, they are there. Nobody's saying that Europeans should go out of Africa or Africans should go out of Europe. Nobody's saying that. But what we are saying is, if you're doing business with all, do it with mutual respect. If you invite African leaders, I look at it that someone agree they can have, then they get an African leader, then they're standing there taking pictures, then they have already promised them. I remember during George Weah, we used to say, when George Weah went to the meeting here, what he brought by, Liberian people, what our president brought by, you see the kind of mentality. Our idea is that we go to this meeting to go and get some handout and bring it back. Then yes, the leader is cool. No, hell no. You know what they getting for us before they came for that peanut?
Before France already defined Liberia when he started. This is what he get.
See, so
France already defined Liberia.
This is a time of rude awakening for the West. That no, listen, this thing has gone on. We have been submissive for a very long time. We have cooperated with you guys for a very long time. You've done all you can do. We are saying no at this time.
Name for a friend. Did God give America right to be police officer in this world to tell you you don't have the right to own this weapon, you have the right to own this, you're not allowed to own this? Who are you?
Not to eat this. Now, I mean, BS, man.
Look, let me tell you, there is something about life. Human being as a whole, they will try themselves. The three of us here, if I start to assert myself, I say, okay, I want to be the most powerful man, among the three of us. And then none of you resist me. Then I say, oh, okay, I think I can make it. But the first day I come, I try to show that kind of spirit of dominance. And Francis stands against me and say, no, Mama, you can't make it here. Then Francis and myself will start to scuffle. Then Paul say, oh, but myself, I agree. You know what happened to me? I will know my place. I say, okay, I try, but I can't make it. But the moment you guys succumb, And this is why, if you listen to me, I got a trend. I'm asking this question: how do we end up, black people? How do we end up being, slave for these people? Okay, our parents made a mistake, but what about us now that know better? Why can't we fight to get ourselves out of this shackle? There are here some people who Ibrahim Traore is not doing the right thing. Yeah, because our mind. Let me tell you, for Africa, all the fight we're fighting here, all the fight Traore fighting, the mind is the one. The war is not. I mean, they fight here. I wouldn't want to call it a war, but they struggle for emancipation is not against the women. It's against our own mind. The moment we emancipate our minds, that we gotta clear our mind. We gotta teach ourselves first that no, listen, we're not supposed to be like this. So now that we know we're not supposed to be like this, it's in our mind. Then let's start the struggle. But where some people are still, still believe that we're supposed to be in the kind of condition, it's going to be difficult. Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
It's going to be so. Before we close on Liberia, I asked a question. I'll develop nuclear weapon, but you live for you're not allowed.
Yeah,
but I'm not God. So this is the former British defense, how do you call it? What we call chief of staff. He was interviewed on this question.
Why does the UK government get to have nuclear weapons and say the Iranian government doesn't?
Well, because we chose to so equip ourselves.
Why can't they do that?
Because governments which are irrational, who have nuclear weapons or who may become irrational, pose a particular threat. And I'm afraid, you're not going to like what I'm going to say, I suspect, but we have Iranian leaders who clearly think it was a very bad idea that Israel was ever invented. And they look forward to the day when Israel will be disinvented.
So take Iran out of the equation. Can other countries who don't say bad things about Israel, can they have nuclear weapons?
Well, we have the Non-Proliferation Treaty.
Whereby we get to have nuclear weapons and
that
no
is
one
what
else
the
does.
treaty set up.
You see the concept what I'm talking about? You see what I was talking about?
Yeah.
Now you got it
They
right.
can have it.
Yeah.
They can have it, but you're not allowed to have it.
The three of us here,
see?
We have the right to eat. the food is there. Then I said, no, you guys will not eat the meat. You're not allowed. You can eat, but not the meat because I think that I believe that you don't deserve it. Can you imagine?
Look,
this is the imperialist concept.
Exactly. Look, we are in contemporary times. And countries have evolved, technology has evolved, and countries are contesting on the global stage. And then when you tend to single out few countries that you feel that they should not have certain defensive or mechanism put into place, they should be vulnerable to your own likings, to your will and pleasure. I mean, this is 21st century. I heard at one time when the French parliamentarian asked America to return the Statue of Liberty, and the press secretary to Donald Trump said she classified the lady as an ordinary lawmaker, politician, and if it had not been from America, they would have been speaking different language. I mean, America is not coming into war to help. We should be speaking different language. You see the sheer arrogance, and that is ingrained into the American mentality. So they have to abuse their minds because the world is changing. There's no way going to stop it. We're going to stop it. The world is they have to disabuse their minds from that. You're not going to stop it.
Yeah.
It's contemporary times. The imperialism era is gone, and no,
Yeah.
people need to
But
self
I
protect
think
themselves.
people are born. I think people are born with this thing. Because why am I saying it? Let me tell you, there are certain traits in people, certain genetic traits in people, and it just follow you. All we Africans. What I want no. Let me be on record for this. Africans are some of the most kindest people on the face of the earth. I mean that we can even sit down with our enslavers. That you can sit down with your enslaver on the scene, boss. You're sharing the scene seat. That you can punch this guy in the nose.
Yeah,
That
because
you can snap his
because they brought a Bible with you. They brought a
Yeah.
Bible. We all think about God. Everything God says to forgive. The white men so bad about it. They're so cruel. They don't forgive. And they still, that what actually pacify Africans. Not that we are yeah, by nature so calm and so adaptable, but the idea is that the Bible tends to soften you. The white men use the Bible to soften you. While they are punching you with their left hand and they're using the Bible with the right hand to say, "Hey,
Yeah, you came my mind, came up powerful for you. That we Africans, you see,
yeah.
In the first place, that book was not supposed to survive in Africa the very day it came. That book, that thing was so scary. But now it's getting no, yeah, there is God. And people who listen to me all the time or to people see that I'm an atheist. No, I believe in this superior power. Hey man, if their clothes are wearing, somebody can make it. Their computer talking on, their phone are using, somebody made it. Then why the whole universe here? Then why where snow can come in Europe, snow can come in Africa, rain can fall there, all the kind of feed in the water, we can eat it. Everything we get free. We pay for it free for all, we can breathe free. Why then I don't think that somebody is responsible. Somebody is in as much as I get father and mother, somebody responsible for this world. But my problem is somebody coming to tell me about this person here. When they see power, when they see power, what they probably say, I should study to show that self-approved, a workman that needed not to be ashamed. Okay? Eh? Then,
and you see how they can make African to put the Bible?
Yeah. Imagine, I know 5 books in the Bible, and my friend was here, Jericula, and 5 books in the Bible by heart. I used to know all by heart, but yet I've been many years. So you see, we used to believe in this thing so much, but it's full of a bunch of lies. And one point they will make God good. God will be a good guy. Then the next minute, they see God can right be bad man. God will tell Moses, go on the mountain and get the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not kill. Moses come down the first commandment and get Joshua and say, oh, go kill the people in Jericho. All the men you're killing. So what kind of God is? 1 minute they go here fine, they go good. Then the next minute they go get crazy.
Let's transition quick to Liberia and then close the show. Because this God, the Israeli over there say God made it. God can't do anything that they can do. But the same Bible tell all they don't want to kill Jesus, and Jesus is 3 into 1. He's God. So the Israeli that God gave them all the protection, they kill God. What kind of sense in that? So let's move on to Liberia. This because we're still on the European team. Something happening in Liberia, and this is concerning Dr. Peter Matthew George, a medical doctor. Something about this guy live for.
A claim.
He was a doctor.
Yeah, he claimed to be. He's not.
Yeah, my man, don't spoil the show here.
Okay.
Dr. Peter Matthew George. The guy who went to Hertfordshire University, that he claimed he went to Hertfordshire, he studied at Hertfordshire University, and he's a medical doctor practicing in Liberia. So Linford, don't run away because I want you to kickstart the story here. This young doctor, is he in here doctor suit? Not me put it on here. This guy claimed, Linford, talk to us. Let me not spoil the thing. What is with this story? And you start and friends say will end up.
You see, when I read this story, I decided not to even finish it because there's a reason why I decided not to finish reading the entire story. I got the gist of the story from the beginning. It's a huge connection. Where does this guy work? He works, in fact, he administers the vice president's clinic reportedly, because I don't know him. I've not seen him there. I've not visited the clinic or hospital rather. I don't know. But he's the administrator, the chief medical officer at that hospital. And what I do know, with also, in Europe here, even if you want to be a cleaner, if you say I've been cleaning, you will go show people, you will go show reference. So you take this man, making your chief medical officer, whether you vetted him or not, and you have him in your employ for many years. Coupled with that, he went and joined the LMDC, the Liberian Medical and Dental Council. And he's been operating. Yeah, council, yeah. Some places got the LMDC and some places get association.
Okay.
Yeah. So the whole thing, for me, I think it was a scandal, and the past president cannot be excused from this, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say that. He must have known something about this, or if he didn't know anything about it, it's about time that he comes out and admit that he didn't know about it, and maybe pay damages to people who have been victimized by this guy, because there is no way on earth. No, if you're talking about a clerk, you say this guy is my clerk, or this guy is my manager for my company, or this guy is something for my private company, and it does not affect other people. But if the guy performs this money, it will only affect your company and yourself. It's not a problem. If I'm your logistic officer, if I don't perform correctly, all of your logistic problems will collapse, or transactions will collapse. It's between you and your clients or whatever. But this man is playing with lives of people, other people, parents and children. And then you take him and keep him for all those years, and things have been happening. So I think the vice president, if it is true that this guy is a chief medical officer for his hospital, and he was carrying false documents, it's concerning, and the vice president must do something. I think that's all I can say, because the thing is embarrassing. How can you you can falsify anything, but not medical? In the medical field, man, this is dangerous.
So, Francis, this guy, he worked in a hospital for many years. I think this guy should be jailed, because what they need to find out from the left of time he been there, how many people have died in that place. This guy need to go to jail because he lied. You see, when you join our association, if they have new leadership, to want to know your credential, where you came from, everybody got to submit their CV and their how do you call it, the school they went to, the certificate. And the man last year he went to Hertfordshire University, and the post said that there's no record of him attending the place. And this guy been practicing in Liberia. Before he went to this hospital to be administration, there is a sad story. This guy should go to jail. Francis, what say you on this story?
Look, I think I will clap for this guy. He's a genius. Because the guy, nobody, I don't know if he went to medical school. I don't know if he has any like a physician assistant training or any nursing training. He's just, got into medical practice by reading. I mean, he must be a genius. I just want to know the background. This guy must be a genius. And to fake away all the years up to this time, working in the hospital, he had no previous medical training. My concern is that if he has any medical training, if he doesn't, it's scary, bro. Because he's not alone. Let me frank. In Liberia,
Exactly.
there are a lot of people besides being medical doctors. There are a lot of people parading the corridors of professional institutions, accounting, law enforcement, law. Have made a way to get PhDs. You got bookers universities all around the world. Online programs, and they have made a way. So it's a sad thing for Liberia. In the midst of the shortages of medical doctors, we have somebody that's impersonating as a -1 for the country, because a country wherein I think 50,000 people, 100,000 person to one doctor. It's a sad thing. It's a madness, man. So I hope it is not true. I hope he has some medical background or so. So that it's embarrassing. A young man.
But the way he lied that he went to Hertfordshire University. And this university, they keep records. It's not like University of Liberia say, oh, because it rained, they do how they call it, the paper-based system, rain swept away the paper. University in the West keep this guy cannot lie on.
No, only Paul. Oh, let's forget about that, because before you get that, you should have gone to a bachelor's level education. You have acquired a bachelor level education before you go to to specialize and become a medical doctor. So
it will not take you less than 6-8 years.
Yeah, my understanding that he went he got somebody from Sierra Leone's paper. So my concern here, my concern here is, to this guy, does he have any experience, training to carry on that work? It's no small feat to become a medical doctor and just jumping out.
But this is why I said this guy need to go to jail, because if he self-read, he have to try on somebody. If that person survive, then he made a person die, then he will try it again. This guy need to be behind bars.
Oh yeah, they had a similar story about this guy.
I bet you.
No, but Paul, you can't get part judgment on the guy. Under the law, everybody's innocent until found guilty.
No, hold on, Leafer. Senator Waterspoon, when you are setting fake certificate, because the people took their medical thing very serious. Say if someone have died because of that fake certificate, but this guy is working. Yes, but this guy here, the first investigation, he lied on a university. That alone is a big red flag.
Okay, so the guy
That's
is judging
tell you,
still. In as much as you see, the point I'm making is that he still got a right to go to jail. I mean, or to go to court to defend himself. If you still lie in court, the people can still prove it. And the good thing nowadays is that every school you attend, beside a hard copy, they got it on the internet. I went to college here in 2007. 2008, I went to England, Southampton University. Up to today's day, my two schools, they can still send me information on what we're supposed to do, what a student get together, all the things. They still sending it. So those are records that will follow me until when I die. They didn't even know what I still living or not. They can still send me information. So this guy, if he lie, he cannot deny that he will not continue to lie. They will get in contact with those universities. So he's letting him have his day in court. But my concern is the connection that he has, the vice president, and also not only that he worked as a chief medical officer.
For the vice president is not a medical practitioner. He can open a thing and this guy can come with his credentials. He wants somebody to run his hospital, that's fine. He built a hospital. But then the Liberian Medical Board, that's where they should be responsible, not the vice president.
The LMDC, the Liberian Medical and Dental Council or Dental Association, they're supposed to do their vetting. It's just like, it's just like this thing goes around in Liberia all the time. And I hear people make a stupid argument all the time that for me to be finance minister, I don't need to know anything about accounting or not even accounting. You can just grab me and make me finance minister. Fine, it sounds good to be health minister. Yeah, you can take me and be health minister. It sounds good, but people do know the implications and the intricacies. I will tell you something. Today I hear people crying about APN terminals that it's expensive, this and that. The poaching, their contract can go, every year we pay more money. Yes. Why? Because you got people who sit in the House of Representatives who do not have knowledge of any of these things. But because they are lawmakers and they got oversight responsibility for certain things. So some companies come to establish certain technical areas. And then all you do is you approve that contract without knowing all the technicalities. Okay? So it's not only in our APN terminal case, several other areas. So in as much as we believe that, okay, the man doesn't have to be a medical doctor for him to be or health minister. This man doesn't have to be, some financial man to be finance minister. This man doesn't have to be, this is nonsense. Let the person know small thing about it. Even if they are not professional in that area, but let them know. Because the thing is, how in the world can I, who practice journalism, and then I did maritime. You take me, you go get me to finance ministry. I don't know anything about bookkeeping. I don't know how to borrow. So anything they bring to me, I'll look. They explain it to me. Then I agree. I sign it. Okay. If anything goes wrong, who is the head? I am the head. But we get an argument in Liberia again. So I'll take your point where you say the vice president is not. A medical man, so he built his hospital, anybody can come and bring document. And yes, I agree, because this is how the country is. We don't vet, we don't do due diligence. So, yeah. And when things fall, when things go out of hand, then we start to go back and we want to find out the reason why they happen. And that's it.
I would differ you a little bit in this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, the problem with Liberia is system enforcement.
What do you
look? I have people here in this country that we live in the country. They don't necessarily like the. I know the Minister of Finance, places like Ministry of Finance and Justice. You need people with that requisite education. Yeah, but other places, like I don't know, education minister, you just have a system that you will follow. But the problem with Liberia, when we come to these positions, all the technocrats that you send away to train, you take them away. These people run this. These people are the the backbone of these institutions.
Fine.
We
Very
work
good.
here.
Very
When
good,
we
Francis.
work here, these people
Probably, I
look,
didn't. Probably, we were thinking the same way. But probably, I didn't say.
if you take over, there's soon. I mean, there's a new government in Norway. You only hear the ministers being changed because they come with the new people, and but the technocrats who have been working in those areas for years, they are still there. They are the one.
Yeah, but
we say
there is
our
exception.
person will save.
There is exception. Francis, probably I just made a freaking statement.
Exactly, but me just say something. I will bring people as soon they take over. They say, leave our director for trade and
commerce,
or maybe or something or he called maritime and the Ministry of Commerce. He been there for 20 years. He been traveling around. They were been working. You see that leave alone, that job. Element kind of land. He alone, the only person. That's the problem. We don't have succession. We don't train. We don't have. That's the problem, Liberia. We don't. So this guy, the guy that fooled the whole country. I don't know. He doesn't have. If he has ever had some. My concern if he had a medical degree or prior to becoming to go for specialization.
Yeah, but, okay. So how do you reconcile? Your concern whether they has medical degree or any experience?
No, but for me, I will have little empathy on him. They say he went to TIMA, he did a medical thing. He went.
Yeah, but wait. Now, let me ask my question. How do you reconcile your concern as to whether this guy knows anything about medicine, whether at the nursing level up to doctor or whatever, with the argument that you don't need to be a professional in a particular area to administer it. Now, this is a guy who administers a whole hospital. Now, probably my statement was just across the board when I talk about people can be placed in position, without people thinking that anybody can do any job. No, there are specific areas. There are places that they help.
This guy is a doctor, bro. The man said he was a doctor. He's fitted in the right place. He's not a mechanic. He did not claim to be a mechanic.
So who fitted him
to be a doctor? And he was fake. So he fitted in a position.
All right.
Who fitted him?
Let me come in. Linford. There's a guy called Mark Harkoff, an English guy. He was the secretary for NHS, the National Health Service. He's not a doctor. He's just an administrator. They took him from there and they took him to defense. He's not an army person, but he's an administrator. So the people, the technocrats that are there, he's just there to see, what you're doing. If you're doing something wrong here, I will administrate it this way for it.
But how does he know that they are doing anything wrong anyway? Because he doesn't know the inside out.
Listen now.
Yeah,
when you appoint the head to that place, the technocrats that are there, the technocrat also become advisor. So if you see the British Parliament, for example, you get the chancellor who is the finance person. Then they get a treasury. That treasury is the guy who know the bookkeeping himself. He's the treasury. But that chancellor is the one that will go in Parliament and read, because when they gave him the paper, he studied it, his team advising, and then now if something going wrong in that department, this is where his administrative knowledge kick in. It should be done.
I think administratively, all government, let's not, because our limit here to Liberia, but let's extend it more. So if that's a system in the UK where you can take anytime they can hurry and put into anywhere because he's an administrator, so he put because they got technocrats down there. But the thing is, if that man, like that chancellor, if he goes to Parliament to go argue the budget or whatever, the budget that has been worked out by the Treasury Department, and they give it to him, he go argue, and they ask him any technical question that he can't answer. You see, and
no, you see, this is what I tell
my argument is whether it's America, Liberia, Great Britain, or wherever. My argument is anybody who will be appointed to certain key area that you know will affect the entire country.
Key now. I mean, a key area, underscore key. All right.
Yeah. You see, so in the case of this guy was a chief medical officer for a particular hospital. So we shouldn't even be thinking whether or no one way or hoping that we hope that he got.
So being a medical doctor, he may not even have administrative thing in him, but he just a practitioner, a proper technocrat. Now there's a situation that is if Liberia faced with. So I don't have no clue in maritime, but I can go to maritime as an administrator and have advisor. I can perform well. You know that happened? That's
what I'm saying. It's wrong. It's wrong. Put people to places where they know something about. It's simple. How? I don't. Oh no. Let me tell you. The whole system of government is just by friendship. Whether America or wherever, because the Donald Trump, he came to power. All the people that were pushing a MAGA policy didn't want to took and put to position.
They're falling.
Yeah.
Sure.
If I had the power to change the whole democratic system or to change the world, my policy would be anybody. And if I were to become president of Liberia, I will introduce that. My friend, whether for city mayor, you must know something about, or the city planning or something.
City ordinance.
Yeah, sorry, city ordinance. You can't go to Jefferson Koji and go put in. Oh, Jefferson, I just put in your ledger. But the thing is, I would change that policy. Paul, and you guys will try to follow my line. The thing is, okay.
It makes no sense. I mean, I agree. But this guy leave for the poor present themselves. Liberia, we don't make any fun. We lazy. Now the internet has opened our eyes. We got people who have just committed themselves to do the background check. The likes of Martin Colley and other people, and you get unfortunate. You got somebody there go and check you, and they find out the discrepancy in your CV or what you say, and the red flagging, you're in trouble.
Friends say you're right. Friends say you're right because when these guys come from, when they do a certificate course at Harvard, they become the thing. I'm a Harvard land, but nobody will do that. They get a big position, and then the person can perform. But you just because you Harvard land, but it does not mean. I'll tell you something. Some certificate I got at my workplace is Harvard management something. And I showed this to John Brandon in Liberia, and he said, "But it's a same degree that Eddie gets. You became president of Liberia. Don't you think you can use that?" I said, "Just stop the nonsense." He said, "Being honest with you, this is where the big name come from. Oh, I went to Oxford, but he might have done some certificate course because of that university, that big name."
I think you guys are also trying to agree with me in some kind of way. Because the thing is, before this kind of man can be, become a member of the because that LMDA or LMDC, as it call themselves, they should be the gatekeeper. Before anybody gets there, they should vet you. Okay, I can come and say, okay, I'm a surgeon, I'm a neurosurgeon, I can operate people's brain. So because I brought some piece of people, we just say, okay, come and be there. No, you got to. But then again, the mistake comes from this argument that no, you don't have to be specialized in this area before you become the administrator. So, but I mean, on the average, I think this fellow, if he's guilty, because right now I can't just say he should go to jail. They got to investigate him, make sure that all his papers are correct or wrong, and then let him have his fair day in court. And when they set an example on him, all the black beggars are going around. People get this. No, Paul, I was in Liberia 2016, and I saw something. I got sick. Just by looking at that thing, I got sick. That people got bucket on their head with tablet inside. It open. They walking away, selling it. They get some small cup on top of it. When you go, they put the cups inside, then they put it in a plastic bag and time. I said, I was like,
but we're not living. For what surprise you? If you go to the pharmacy, they'll put the drugs in a plastic bag. There's no expiring date, no name of that drugs. They tell you, take this one here one time, or they say, so that's then they want on the street. What is different? This is in Liberia, you go to pharmacy, they have some plastic or little plastic bag. They'll take 3 pieces or 4 pieces and put it, say, take this one. They'll pour, the marker, one times one a day. But you don't know the name of that drug. You don't know when did that drugs expire. But you go, you start swallowing it.
But man, we just
guys,
it was a great show.
Yeah,
but let's end up on this one. Yeah, Paul. Let's end up on the visit of the Barbadian president. Very quick.
Yes, that's the good news. And for those in Liberia or that have Liberian passport, you can travel to Barbados without a visa. The president of Barbados. I mean, you know, this thing is getting to be stronger. The ties between Barbados and Liberia now is getting stronger. Ellen Johnson took whole delegate to Barbados because these people came to Liberia. Even some of our president from Liberia came from Barbados.
Yeah,
so that close
Grenada, other country there.
Yeah. So these people want to have that close tie with Liberia. Now they have found out that there's a place in the Mozzarella area called Crusoeville.
Yeah,
people that came from Barbados. That's what it settled.
That's what it settled.
So this is a close relationship that these two countries trying to put together. And so the president have arrived in Liberia today. So she's in Liberia and to strengthen.
Look, the woman that woman, my man. Check that lady at the AG. Where she check her speech out.
Yeah,
she's powerful.
The last General Assembly, when she said she was one of those persons that waste of time coming here. She blasted Israel.
She blasted
America.
Is her voice. She got that voice.
She blasted. Look, this. I told my wife, check that lady up. The woman is. No, she's too good. She too good, right?
She gets strong voice.
She's a real president.
Yeah, but guys, I think
that's the good news.
The next time I get holiday, maybe I'll go to Barbados and introduce myself to them that I'm from Liberia. And I used to have some friends from Crusoeville. I know one family there where the children were in school together. I can call her name. And so I'm from Liberia, though I'm not in Liberia now, but man, somewhere get to take holiday, right?
Barbados from Europe, Barbados far, man. I mean, you used to travel far places because you go to Philippines, man. How small?
18, 19 hours, my man.
I tell you.
When you get there, you walk in there, you can get leg on you.
Barbados, man. It's a good place to go, man. I never go to ski.
It was a good show tonight, and this is one of the first time we have gone over our normal time, but it's worth it. At least we're going to give the information, and
so we'll have a caller on the line, please. Caller, call your name. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, thank you, Brother Paul. This is Bataki speaking. Thomas Lewin from Belgium.
What say you, Bataki? Give for your view.
Yes, I just want to applaud you guys for the show. I think you guys always improve and keeping on the standard, giving our people the information that they will not hear from any other platform. So I just want to applaud you guys for your hard work, and it is not easy for you to get all of this information in one bundle and bring it to our people. But just few recommendations. you talked about the conflict, the conflict that is going on in our global space. I think it has a lot to do with the education to bring it to our people, and that is to educate them on when it comes to nuclear and all of those the impact. I think so my recommendation on that is to at least write this woman they call Annie Jacobson. I don't know if you guys heard about her. Annie Jacobson, she wrote a book called Nuclear War. She emphasized a lot. She's around all of these platforms educating people about nuclear war. I think it's better that we write her a note to invite her on the platform so that she can educate our Liberian people about nuclear war and the impact. The second thing I want to talk about is another book called Nuclear War Survival Skills. There's another guy that I'm tracing for him to come on the platform, but I will reveal that information later on to you guys. Because we as Liberian, especially Africa, we don't prepare. We don't make our own food. We don't grow our own food. We depend on the West. And if such a conflict grow up, it have a very huge impact on the global market and a global supply chain. So it is why for us to educate our people on that. And you talk about nuclear weapons. The problem is when any country that will be the first to use that, they will open the box of Pandora. So that means it's a green light for any country to use it. So that is the reason that we are on 5 seconds or 10 seconds to midnight. Mm-hmm. So I want you guys also, the last recommendation is to educate our people on the Doomsday Clock. There is an atomic bulletin board that has been published since the World War II. Every disaster around the world, the clock goes up to another second to midnight. That maybe the Liberian people want to learn about. If they don't, but it's wise that we bring it to them so that they know what is going on, that they might not be caught surprisingly. Okay. Thank you so much, brother.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. We will consider it. Thanks for the input as well.
Okay. I guess Francis dropped in the back. But I think we need to call it a day. Okay, Francis is back. We need to call it a day. I don't know what you guys took away from this program tonight. Starting with you, Francis, since you came late, what did you take away? So look, if you were to carry a message away from here.
Look, the key takeaway is, be considerate of other people. Consider their space, because the world is not centered around a particular country or a particular person. We need each other, and you cannot be a gatekeeper and a moral police and turn an eye, a blind eye to other countries and other events or other situations around you, So yeah, so I'll take that. I would consider that as a takeaway, where we should, keep our space and and just don't jump to other people's businesses that way where you do not have any right. Well, you're doing something else.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's good advice, but we don't know whether people will listen to those kind of things, because when that power gets to your head, man, come on, it drives you like crazy. So, Paul, your takeaway.
Yeah. My takeaway on the whole thing is surrounding. Will have to be the D-Day parade, and what the Victory Day parade in Moscow, what have shown that that Russia still remain Russia. I think they have gained more strength in recent time than before, when Boris Yeltsin was there. So it showed that from today, what I saw, I think Russia is back at that full strength. And with the ties with the Chinese, this is something that the West now will be, they will have to think about, because, and also adding Iran on that, that is a powerhouse to reckon with economically. We look at it and we've seen. So my takeaway will be the victory day parade in Moscow. It shows strength and unity among those new, especially the Chinese president and the Russian president. What it shows us that they in something for that is bigger. And then also our African young brother that was sent for. Maybe this guy will mentor him. They will tutor him good. By the time he reached 40, there'll be a new order in Africa. We will never know. So I have this belief that if this guy keep going the way he going, he will be one of those people in Africa that will have the atomic bomb too, to say now nobody dare touch Africa. So that's my hope. So yes, so why y'all take away, Nifa?
Well, my takeaway will just be short. My takeaway is that it'll be in a form of recommendation that those countries that think they are powerful, that think they can police the entire world, and they can set the pace for other people to follow, that nobody should have their own will, precisely America and its NATO friends, they should begin to think that we are not in the time when NATO was founded after World War II. We are not in the time when the UN was founded, or first the League of Nations and then the UN was founded, and certain countries should just be backbenchers. You're sitting behind, you're only time to put your head up. That time has passed. Okay, we are in a new era. What you did yesterday cannot be repeated today or cannot be continued to the future. And so they should bear with that. They should know the reality and live with it. But if they continue to force things, it may not go the right way. Even if we will get children, you born this baby, yeah, the baby, you will cry, you will shower the baby, you will give it food, you will do everything. But when the baby begin to grow and they can call you by name, so now you say, Kanya, they say no. You say, sit down and say no. They same baby where you were here cleaning a few days ago, when you say, sit down and say no. So you got to know that there are changes that will take place in the lives of people. So you can't be thinking that way 1910 behavior where you or 400 years ago you colonized group of people and you think they will just be your property all the time. No, things are changing. You say you know all, you have taught us, so we know now. So why you still want to suppress us? So I hope they will change their attitude. And the next thing again is that all the threat that you do so, will do so, you do so. It's not time for it. We are in a different era. People are getting brave. And every day, people are getting brave. So you can't continue to threaten and think that, like in the case of Iran, we can't allow Iran to do this and with China to do this. No, that time has gone. So we hope that people who are people who are placed themselves at the highest echelon of power can reconsider and try to live with the rest of the country as they are members of the Committee of Nations, as also, the words of global village. Nobody can live. There is this saying that no man is an island. In as much as America then reach, Europe then reach, but they can still go to poor Africa to get something from there. That would tell you that no man is an island. So my takeaway is that we should all live, and live in peace. And the last thing I want to say is all of the videos we show tonight, they are not our creations. We just collected it by way of the information highway, which is the internet, so that people will get the information. So we're not taking credit for it. We give credit to the original producer. So Facebook or whoever is responsible do not, have any issue with us. We are just giving our disclaimer. The bottom line library is giving disclaimer that all of the videos we play today, they are not our own creation, creations. And finally, let me say thank you to all of our new members today that join us. Please like our page and once you subscribe to it, whenever we come on, we'll be notified. And we'll be here the next time. We'll be on Tuesday. Today, Friday, right? We'll be here on Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock Liberian time, 9 o'clock Central European time, 8 o'clock UK time. And I want to say thank you to all my colleagues on the program. Thanks a lot. Happy weekend. If you celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday, wedding anniversary, chill out, man. If you have any side event, we're sorry, we are with you. But you want to play our
No, so we'll close on the commercial. The hands. Yeah.
Papa can get them, Mama can be happy. Bye.
Yes. Say it's weekend. Papa drinking, Mama happy. So, guys, It was a great show. Good night and good night to our audience. We're back again on Tuesday by His grace. So we'll take you home on this.
Di Lorenzo, G Grace. Hems vocal, Liberia number one vocal, Liberia number one, right? Okay.
The phrase, a new sheriff is in town, does not only belong to law enforcement. How about the introduction of Liberia's premier vodka, a quality and customized liquor for all occasions? Try the flavor of your choice. Ham's Vodka, Ham's Honey, Ham's Bitter, and Ham's Original Vodka. Ham's Vodka has no hangover. That's why they say Papa drank Mama happy. Ham's Vodka is sold in all stores, shops, supermarkets, and entertainment centers in Liberia. For wholesale, contact Ham's Vodka at 0777 001114, 0777 000-979. We can also be reached via social media on Facebook and IG at Ham's Vodka or www.hansvodka.com. In the United States, please contact Hans North America Incorporated at 610-543-9289, 484-888-1622, 484-755-8411. Hans Vodka is approved by the U.S. federal government. Hans Vodka brings out the real man in you.
I tell you in my boy in my blood. Every time when I stay on the block, everybody knows it. We husband and forgot that number one. Oh, from Liberia all around. In supermarket store and everywhere. And forgot that number one.
This is